What's up guys, welcome to the Mango Monkey Show. Today we will be talking about using superannuation to purchase your first home. Is that possible guys? Do you have $20,000 each in your bank account now, $40,000 combined with your partners? Surely the temptation is there. Is it possible? Well, a few days ago I saw this article on the Sydney Morning Herald. I will show you the screenshot of it. Well, it turns out that a lot of banks actually say no to using superannuation to purchase your first home. Well, it's your own money. Who are they to be able to make moral decisions for you? You should be able to use it however way you want. Well, it turns out it's not like that. The reason is that with using your superannuation money to purchase your first home, you would have had to inform the Australian Taxation Office that you are suffering some kind of financial hardship, or at least you have to say to them that you have lost your job or had your hours reduced by a substantial amount. If you go through the Australian Taxation Office website, which I will share with you on the screen now, you'll be able to see some of the criteria. One potential loophole that you may be able to use is that if you look at these criteria, none of them actually say to you how long your hours must be reduced for. If, for example, your hours are reduced significantly for 1 week, but the next week you actually get back to your full-time hours, that means technically you do qualify for the early superannuation release, even though you may not necessarily have a long-term impact on your job stability. Perhaps at that time you make your claim for the superannuation, you did not actually know that the issue will only run for 1 week. And then 1 week later you found out obviously your employer does a lot better at that time. It may be possible to use your superannuation to pay for your home, but it generally speaking will be quite difficult. Now the other thing you need to consider is how much deposit are you putting in towards the purchase of your property. So usually if you purchase a property with less than 10% deposit, and it may vary from one bank to the next one, you will need to prove that your deposit was obtained from a genuine savings. What is a genuine savings? Let me explain for you. Genuine savings means it's money that you have saved up over time. How long do you need to save it up over? Usually the bank looks at your bank statement over the last 3 months. What that means is that if you apply for your home loan today, if you have been saving over the last 3 months and the money has already been there since 3 months ago, usually it is genuine savings. Now sometimes what the banks can look at is not only do they look at the amount of money you had 3 months ago, but they also look at what has happened over the last 3 months. For example, if 3 months ago you had only $20,000, but today you have $30,000, depending on how exactly you obtain that $30,000, you may be able to count the whole $30,000 as your genuine savings. So that means because most banks only need 5% of the property purchase price to be genuine savings, you could purchase a property of up to $600,000 because 5% of that is $30,000. Now, how does the bank determine whether they could count $30,000 or $20,000? Usually they look at the credits and debits in your bank account. For example, if it's quite clear that the extra money comes from your salary, usually it will be okay to be counted as part of genuine savings. If the incoming money doesn't have any label, for example, if it comes from another person, could be your parents, your mom or dad, they may not be able to count that as part of genuine savings. Therefore, they may actually reject your home loan application. So what will happen if you actually don't have 5% genuine savings? If you do not have a true 5% genuine savings from your salary? Well, there will be a couple of lenders who may not need genuine savings. Some lenders also can look at other forms of documents as a substitute for genuine savings. What are these documents? A common document that a lot of applicants use is a rental ledger. This is essentially a document that you can obtain from your real estate agent, usually it's free of charge, that will show your rental payment history. Normally you can look at the last 6 months and that usually will be enough for the bank. So if in the last 6 months you have been paying your rental expense on time, usually the bank will be able to ignore the fact that you do not have 5% genuine savings. Now, how do the banks look at the rental history? Well, one thing is you cannot be late in your rental payment. Sometimes even if you are 1 day late, it may be an issue. Now also what you should do is when you look at this rental ledger, make sure you are not actually behind. Sometimes what can happen is perhaps 6 months ago you paid $10 less. So even though you have been paying essentially on time, technically speaking you are $10 behind. So if that is the case, make sure that you actually pay up the $10 that you are behind on. How much does your rent need to be? Well, each bank is a little bit different. However, usually if your rental expense is similar to your mortgage repayment, it should be fine. Some banks also allow you to combine your rental expense and your savings. For example, if your rental expense is only $500 per week, however, your home loan repayment could be $600 a week. That means you are technically missing $100 per week. If you're able to actually save in the last 3 months $100 per week, usually they could actually approve your home loan application. Okay, so I hope this helps, guys. If you like this video, if you learned something from it, or if you find it useful, don't forget to click the like button and see you in the next video.